Hello everyone. If you haven't noticed, today I'm in a new setup. It's because we have finally started to move out all our moving boxes from my room. So today I figured I would do one of my most requested videos, which is, drumroll please, ta-da! How to learn Korean. For the people who are new here, hello, I'm Liisu. 1 year ago I started learning Korean and by now I've become quite okay at it. My qualifications as your teacher is the fact that I'm trilingual and nothing else really. But I thought since it is going quite well for me in my studies at the moment, I will tips you about things that work for me. Step number 1. I don't advise you to start out with buying studying books or going to lessons. Language is very woven into the culture, and it's important to understand the culture to understand how the language works. In Korean, an example of this would be the age system. For first introducing, this is the fun part. I recommend watching a lot of dramas, several interviews, and YouTube videos. All of these three are going to give you a different perspective of the language. What you really learn from listening to Korean being spoken is how they build the language, how they stack words. And this will be really important because later on, when you start studying, things like these will make sense. If you start studying immediately, without having a lot of experience in listening to Korean, the first barrier you will have to break through is why the language works the way it does. Step number 2. This is where I would advise you to start with real studying. Learning Hangul is very important. I know there are a lot of romanized ways to learn Korean, but the thing is, even romanization, the pronunciation is slightly different, which is why it's really important to learn Hangul so that you can really understand the details of the pronunciation, because then you can also read Korean, which is great. Learning Hangul is actually really easy. There are very few signs in comparison to Japanese and Chinese. All their signs mean words, right? Or mean something. But in Korean, they're mostly just sounds, which makes it a lot easier for us. I would advise you to learn this by some sort of an app. There are a lot of free apps. Yeah, those are just kind of to bang into your head. It's not a lot to it, really. You'll get it. Number 3. So number 3 actually has to do with number 2, and it is starting to write. Write small introductions, write just random things. Like for me, I learned the word cat really quickly because it's important to me. So I just wrote cat everywhere. Like, does it have a meaning? No. But did it help me to learn Korean? Yes. Step number 4. Now is the time I would actually recommend you to invest in some books. I have done all my studying by myself. I haven't had a Korean teacher. Well, except in one episode of 유학소녀. So the books I have found really helped me are these ones. These are called Talk to Me in Korean. Here's from book number 3, chapter 22. So you start out with a small introduction where they just kind of explain things. And then they have examples, how the words can be used in a lot of different scenarios. And then you have a sample dialogue, which shows how a conversation could look. And then you have an exercise where they ask you small questions and you will fill in these blanks. They can also be like, drag one word to the proper translation or circle the correct answer. So it's really just like basic, very much kind of what you did when you were 10, when school was still fun. I know these books can be hard to get by, and they are quite expensive, at least, you know, if you have shipping as well. But you don't actually need the book to get access to the lessons, because they exist as podcasts. Thank you! So Talk to Me in Korean is this website. All of their podcasts are there, and you can also get script of the podcast so you can see everything they've talked about. And you can also find the podcast on Spotify, so they are free for use. So yeah, Talk to Me in Korean for sure is one I recommend. And then step 5. So step 5 is speak to yourself. Actually, the thing that kind of helps me the most is I speak a lot to myself. I have inner monologues all the time, and in all different languages. I also did this so much when I was learning English when I was small. Like everything I could say in English, I would say in English. And kind of like narrate what I'm doing. Now I'm going to the kitchen. Cooking is fun. I will eat bread. And the thing that helps with this is you will get so frustrated when you do not have the word to what you want to narrate that you will Google it up. And this will expand your vocabulary so fast. I will just say things I can, and as much and often as I can. So yeah, this is kind of an explanation why I speak Korean so often, like in just random parts of my video, and because I'm trying to learn the language. Hope you are more okay with that now. Now, 6th step. I would recommend for you to start speaking Korean, not to yourself, but to people around. This is really hard when you are not in Korea. However, I can write, and writing letters is a great way to learning Korean. Finding a pen pal is something I would really recommend, and it's kind of hard, but you can do it through the internet. One app that I would really recommend to you is Slowly. Slowly is a pen pal app where you can insert a really minimal amount of information, just kind of your age, your nationality, what languages you're interested in learning, and then there are a couple of different hobbies that you can click in which ones you have. You can put a filter like, oh, I want to only find Korean people who are in the ages around 20, something like that, to find the perfect match for you. And the thing that's so charming with Slowly is that it sends the letters slowly. It takes a long time for your letter to reach the other person. And it takes different amount of time depending on where the other person is. So I've also written to people on Slowly who live in Estonia. And that only takes 2 hours or something for the letters to reach there. But when I write to people who live in America or people who live in Korea, it will take 21 hours or something like that. You can see if you have an incoming letter and you're like, oh, in a couple of hours I can open this. And this helps with your language studies by kind of what I talked about when watching YouTube. You're watching real people. This is where you're writing to real people. Really, from writing letters, I picked up a lot of new words and a lot of expressions and a lot of ways to word things that I wasn't aware of. Now, 7th step is the best step if you want to learn Korean, and it is going to Korea. So it's not really a realistic step for most people, but you're thrown into a different environment where a lot of people don't speak English, so you have to get by a Korean skill. This makes you learn really quickly. It's kind of a survival instinct. So for sure, going to Korea. Now, thank you so much for listening in to this episode of how to learn Korean or generally languages. I hope these tips and tricks will help you. If they do, please comment which ones. I really hope you get some sort of help for this, otherwise this video was kind of pointless. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in to my next video. I don't know what it's gonna be about, and I don't know when it's gonna be, but yeah, love you all. Thank you. Bye!